very inflammatory, and they can contribute to all kinds of disease and illness. Okay?
So, does that include, you said nothing in a box, so does that include gluten-free crackers?
So that's a good question. Jan's asking about whether it includes gluten-free crackers as an example. Yes and no. So if I say yes and no, I mean it's a spectrum. We're not looking for perfection. If we're going from having gluten-free crackers and processed foods all the time to having it only every now and then as an accessory to our meals, it's so much better. You're already going to be doing such a better job for your health. But if we're eating gluten-free crackers with every meal and that's what we snack on, yeah, sure. Maybe it doesn't have preservatives. A lot of them don't have preservatives, but they're still processed. In a factory, especially if they're well-known, because they have to make more of them, right? They're going to have more things in them that are difficult to read and interpret on the back of the box.
So would you say the same thing about organic bean chips and...
So Jan's asking about organic bean chips as an example.
And organic tortilla chips?
And like organic, like gluten-free tortilla chips, like corn.
Like R.W. Garcia.
I would say that I eat them.
Okay.
I do, okay? And I feel very healthy. I'm a very healthy individual, right? I feel good, I got energy.
Regularly.
I eat them, but they're not part of my staple diet.
Okay.
Okay? So if we're looking for a place of health, if you had a completely perfect diet, you wouldn't be able to comfortably exist in society. And that's not what we're talking about. I mean, honestly, I eat canned tuna fish every now and then. I confess. And I really enjoy it. But it's not a regular thing. And I do other things for my body to maintain my health. We have this good friend who is an Ayurvedic medicine man in New Mexico. He's originally from India. And he's an eccentric, for sure. And his wife is a native woman from India, and she cooks all of his meals. Beautiful Indian cuisine at home. He eats at home, and he eats beautiful, healthy food. But once every 2 weeks, he goes to McDonald's. And he tells himself he's inoculating himself for the 21st century. And you know what? It's a reality. We have to live in society if we want to be a part of society. And you know, my husband tells me all the time, and he is definitely a figurehead for eating healthy and living healthy. He's gluten-free. He does all kinds of really good things for his health, and he supports me in, you know, talking about it to other people. But he has lots of business meetings that are at restaurants. It's not like he brings them over and has them play with our kids while I'm cooking dinner, right? I mean, it's not that sort of thing. So, sure, he might have things that are not great from time to time, but he also knows it. He's honest with himself so that then he can make sure that he's doing other things to support his body. And he also knows, okay, if I'm going to eat this, I might not feel great. And that's okay, too, because, again, we don't want to constantly be berating ourselves about not doing the right things. We want to be supporting ourselves. We want to live in a world where we're treating ourselves with respect, which means eating things that are going to be good for us, but that's not possible all the time. So when we eat something that's not ideal, that's okay too. It is, but then it's just understanding that we want to make sure that the bulk of what we're doing is good for us. Does that answer your question,
Yes,
Dan?
it does. Thank you. So canned wild-caught salmon in a can is also not...
So wild-caught salmon in a can is better than farm-raised salmon in a can. I eat that too, Jane. I do. And you know what? There are some that are great. The reality is some of those cans are lined with BPA plastic and, you know, all kinds of... I mean, nothing is going to be perfect unless you grow it out of the ground. You know what ground it's growing out of and it falls onto your plate. But that's really not the way we can live. So it's okay to have that. There's lots of benefits from eating wild-caught salmon in a can. I mean, maybe a couple times a week is maybe too much, but if you change everything else and leave that, you're going to be feeling so much better, and then you can do a science project. You can get rid of it for a month and see how you feel. And if it's not that different, well, yeah, add it back in and eat it a couple of times a week. It's not the end of the world. And a lot of it is also how do we treat ourselves through that process, right? How do we respect ourselves when we have things that aren't ideal? Does it affect the way we feel about ourselves, which is also going to aid in disease and, you know, degeneration, right? So it's a bigger picture.